So, in a story first was reported by Marshall Pruitt from Racer.com, BMW and Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing will part ways at the end of the 2025 IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship season. Now, the partnership between the German manufacturer and RLL began in 2009, and now both sides will head in different directions moving forward. Team co-owner Bobby Rahal told Racer.com that he was obviously disappointed about the split and called it an honour and a privilege to represent BMW. Now, Rahal added that RLL have been in talks with several manufacturers about staying in IMSA, but there could be options to run an LMP2 program, start up an Indy next, or the most surprising possibility mentioned was starting a team up in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Now, on the other hand, John DeGasse as well from Sports Car 365 got an official statement from BMW confirming the end of their partnership. He also reported that rumours suggest that Team WRT, who runs BMW's hypercar class team, might run the IMSA program as well in what could become a Michelin Endurance Cup only program. Now, the links to both these articles are in the video description below and photo courtesy of Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. Well, me and Matt know WRT well, of course, with them running the British Touring Car Championship, one of BMW here in the UK as well. Let me tell you something, they're a secretive bunch as well. And trying to get any information out of them is very, very difficult. So, Kobe, starting with you, do you think that the split between BMW and RLL was the best move for both sides? And how would you feel about Team WRT taking over the IMSA program?
Well, I'll start off talking about RLL and BMW before getting into Team WRT, which is a highly respected sports car racing team, in Europe and all over the world. But yeah, RLL and BMW have been together for many years now. I remember when they were running together in the then American Le Mans series, and then they were in the GTLM class, transitioning to, when it transitioned to GTD Pro and all of that. And then they got into prototype racing. I thought RLL, has been a good partner for them, but I think it's no secret that BMW have obviously wanted more in them. So they've wanted to be more competitive. They've wanted to win more races, and they wanted to, obviously compete for a championship more often than not. But, unfortunately, they just haven't gotten that with RLL. And like you're saying, Josh, we don't really know what the future is for this IMSA BMW GTP program. We don't know if it's going to be a Michelin Endurance Cup program only, or if they're going to stay on with the full season and try to get another team such as WRT to run a full season program. But I think BMW and RLL, all their years together, they have a lot to be proud of or what they've accomplished. Like I said, I'm sure they would have loved to have accomplished more, but maybe that BMW feels that the best thing to do is to move on from them because they can get another team in there, and maybe it'll go much better with another team such as WRT. And I know that in the past they've talked about wanting to expand their racing programs around the world. We haven't seen them in IMSA yet, but I think it'll be really cool, whether it's for a full season or the Michelin Endurance Cup program. I think they'll do the best that they can to extract as much as they can out of these GTP cars to see if they can try to do more than what RLL was able to do with them. But strictly, from a numbers perspective, it will be disappointing to see it only become an endurance program only because, when you look at the IMSA GTP class and the World Endurance Championships hypercar class is absolutely booming. IMSA is still doing relatively well, but but I'll be honest, as a stateside viewer here, with IMSA being our main sports car championship, kind of disappointing to see what WEC is doing, because I look over there and I get kind of jealous because I'm like, well, I wish we could have, the number of prototypes in our class like they have over there. Maybe IMSA will get there at some point, but yeah, we're looking forward to seeing what BMW is going to do next in GTP.
Yeah, a proper good evening to everyone. It's a shame, isn't it? As you say, Kobe, we've talked about the hypercar class, especially in the WEC, a lot on this show this year, with Ford coming and Genesis and McLaren obviously was announced properly at Le Mans last month. It was always the thought in the back of my mind that someone would need to be the one that got pushed/bundled out of the door at some stage, and it looks like the BMW USA project is the first sort of domino to fall out of bed, which is a real shame because, as you documented, Josh, RLL have been stalwarts of that paddock for a very long time through the back end of the American Le Mans Series days with the GT car, and then progressing into the prototype categories. So it's a real shame for Bobby and everyone involved there that this has happened. Be interesting to see what they do next. With, as you mentioned, the trucks, NXT or Indy Next, perhaps on the horizon for them, which will be cool for them to go and do something different, because we know how good a racing team they are. It's not been brilliantly successful in the top end of IndyCar for a while, but this BMW has shown real pace. I mean, Dries Van Voort was rolling off the poles at the beginning of the season in IMSA like they were going out of fashion. It hasn't really happened for them in the races, while perhaps the other German manufacturer has been taking all the headlines at Porsche just down the street there with Team Penske. So real shame. What will they do next? We'll wait and see. If WRT do pick it up, at least as that Michelin Endurance Cup program, which has been moved, that'd be good to see them still on the grid for the big races, Daytona, Watkins Glen, Petit Le Mans, Sebring, that kind of thing. So at least we'll still have BMWs in the top class at the big races. Obviously, they'll still be represented in the GTD class with Paul Miller and with Turner and others running the M4. But shame that of all the massively brilliant, great news, look at Hypercar, it's flying along, going great guns. One of them perhaps on the downslide. Perhaps you would have suspected it might have been Peugeot that were first to go, because they've not been having such a great time in the WEC, and they've already pulled out once, that it would be them. But looks like perhaps, as I say, the domino has started to teeter on the BMW project.
Yeah, and already we're seeing a couple of signs, in the touring car paddock about BMW. There was a few little interesting nods at Oulton Park with the bad season they're having there as well. Whereas it seems to be a knock-on effect around the whole company. Of course, WRT not directly with the touring cars because they're run by West Surrey Racing, but WRT are in control with BMW for the car manufacturer side of things as well, that they provide to the factory team run by Dick Bennett as well over there. So there's definitely a knock-on effect, and I was suspecting, I think we've talked about it before, about BMW probably pulling out of a couple of series to focus on other parts. I thought the touring cars would be one. I didn't expect IMSA to be one, so I hope that they stay full-time with WRT taking over as well. Let's just see how that one works out. I do have one thing, though. If they do to go RLL to the truck series, don't put Graham in the car. I would really have a problem with that. I really would, because it's not the place to put elder drivers. I mean, trucks has got a couple of them, but
we saw Marco struggle in the truck. When he tried that out, and I think they interviewed him, I forgot who did. Someone interviewed Marco Andretti earlier this year, and they said, "How's your NASCAR adventure coming along?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm done with that." So like we've seen in the past with some of these open wheel stars, try to come over in the transition. It's just extremely difficult compared to what they're used to. We've seen this time and time again, where you see
Helio.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Elio Castroneves as well, and there's also another long list of drivers who have tried that and haven't completely worked out. I know Marco's equipment wasn't really the best during his time in stock car racing, but it was just unfortunate. But hey, at least he got to try something new, right? I mean, his performance in the SRX series gave him the confidence that he could potentially be good at this, and he tried it, and it just wasn't meant to be.
I've always said there's only... Go on.
Talking about IndyCar drivers going truck racing, Conor Daly's done all right in his sporadic appearances that he's made over the last couple of years down there. So not all bad for the IndyCar drivers.
I'd say that Daly's got a little bit more experience as well through a couple of other cup cars he's done over the years. So it's sort of I don't know. Mario's. I don't think he's done much, has he? Outside of single seaters.
No.
Certainly, it's not like...
I'll quickly roll an A1GP reference in when we talk about Marco Andretti and single seaters.
I knew you were going with this. Go on.
Had to be done. Adam says Jack Villeneuve running NASCAR and didn't have much success. No, he didn't, Adam, apart from when he was bowling people out the way in Xfinity races at Montreal in the 22 Penske car over those couple of years that you ran at that race.
Yeah, and then he got into it with Danica at Road America. Remember that?
He did. Yeah.
Kobe's just done a Danica reference. I must be slipping. No, I'm very surprised you let WSR go, as well, considering they had, what was it? They had Singapore, America, and New Zealand in A1GP.
Yeah, they did.
You let that one go. Yeah.
Yeah.
As well.
Can't do it all. We'll have to do a special A1GP grid tonight at some stage.
Yes, we would, especially. No, we're past the 20th anniversary as well. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll do one when 20th anniversary when they ended. So that's 2010. We've got 5 more years. Was it 2009? Yeah, when did it end?
2009. Yeah, 9.
9. Yeah. God, it was confusing to work out. I still miss it to this day.